This is my weekender sweater. Hopefully a year from now I will actually have a sweater. Hello, welcome to Soulful Spinning, my channel about creating and using handspun yarn. My name is Lisa and I can be found on social media as the Soulful Spinner. So welcome to this little space on the internet where I share my love of all things woolly, mostly hand spinning and knitting. Today is the 18th of July 2022 and I'm coming to you from a very hot and sunny Chicagoland area today. In today's episode I'm going to talk about what this is destined to become, and I'm getting very hot just holding all of this. This is 500 grams or so of carded CVM that is going to be part of a spin it to knit it that I'm going to talk about today. I better set this down because it's awfully hot. All my little clouds are going to go everywhere. Okay, there we go. So yes, in today's episode, I'm going to give you an update on my second pair of Handspun socks. I'm going to talk about a fleece to sweater spin that I'm working on. A little bit of spindle spinning. I have some footage of how to spin long draw on a drop spindle, or the horizontal draw, that we'll talk about today. And then a little bit at the end about some vacation plans I have. So I'm going to be leaving town for just a week or so, and I have to make some decisions about what kind of spindle spinning projects I should bring. And then the last thing I have to talk about today is the new support spindle that I received in the mail just a couple of days ago. So yeah, let's talk first about my fleece spin. So I have a friend, you may know her, Sherry from the Twisted Dye Kitchen channel. I'll link her channel in the description, which all the comments and everything now show up over here. But I'll link her channel below. She's a real sweetie, and she says, hey, do you want to participate in Andrea Mowry knit it to spin it along? And I'm like, well, you know, twist my arm, okay? So I said yes, I was going to do that. So here's the sweater that I'm going to be making. And if you're a knitter, you've probably seen this because this is a very, very popular pattern called a Weekender by Andrea Mowry. Very, very popular designer who has a channel here on YouTube as well, where she answers a lot of questions about knitting and her patterns in particular. So this pattern was originally made from a woolen spun yarn called Brooklyn Tweed Shelter, which is a worsted weight yarn. And in her first version, she used a marled yarn. So a marled yarn is when you have two or more colors that sort of barber pole around each other. So I knew that I had this fleece in my stash. I have this cream-colored CVM. It's a badger-faced U. It had all these different shades of cream and brown. I pulled out all the creamy shades. And then I have this beautiful fleece from English Blue Ribbon Farm that I think I got last year. And I thought, wouldn't that make a pretty, pretty marl? So I originally thought of doing a cream with a brown, and I'm being really good here because it's a big spin, and I sampled, and this is my first attempt, which I wasn't pleased with. So the first time I marled a brown and a cream color together, and I like the singles individually, but in the yarn, I just wasn't too keen on this colorway, the brown and the white. I just feel like it just, I don't know, it just didn't make my heart sing. So that's when I decided that I would do maybe a lower contrasting marl. And I'll show you my sample here. So here are the locks look like before carding. So this is the gray CVM is called California Variegated Mutant, and it's also called Rommeldale. Rommeldales were originally white, and then there was a mutant, and so there's different colors. And this was the one, this is the gray, kind of like a gray pewtery shade. And CVM is really known for its bounce, its elasticity, and its resiliency. So I'm taking various shades of the gray. Some of them were much lighter, and some of them were a little bit darker. And I'm taking sort of the medium and the light shades and carding them together. And then the cream colored fleece looks like this before processing. This one's a little bit softer. I think I got this from Fiddle Knoll Farms a few years back. Also very, very, very lovely, beautiful fiber to work with. And here is my sample. So here's the sample yarn. My air conditioning just came on. I hope my mic doesn't pick up too much of that. And so this is my swatch. So I have some footage of how I'm processing this yarn, and I'll insert that here, and then we'll come back. I'll talk about the swatch that I knit up. These are the paddle combs that I'm using to prepare my fiber for my drum carder over here. So I'm using my Clemis drum carder, hand cranked. This one has quite a large capacity, and I can get a good 2 ounces on there, probably a lot more if I really pushed it, but I try to stick it to about 2 ounces. So what I'm going to do is take these locks here, and rather than pull out the locks individually and flick carding them with a flick carding brush, which is really time consuming. So these are the combs. It says they're peasant combs. They're by Robin Russo. And what I do is I put these here, and you can't forget to make them stationary on your surface. So here are my locks. It's a beautiful CVM fleece. And I'm going to charge them. I don't put them on any particular way. Actually, if you put the tips on, it'll open up the tips. So I'm not using the combs to prepare a worsted prep. I'm just using the combs to, kind of like a picker, to open up my locks to put on my drum carder. And it really makes quick work. See, if I put all these locks into the carder the way they are, I get a lot of little neps, like from the cut end. Sometimes it's sticky there, or I'll get a little tip that wants to pull off. You get little neps in your fiber. So by doing this, you're cleaning out any dirt and getting rid of any debris that's left. Though this fleece doesn't have very much because she was coated. So I load it to about 50% here. And then I'm going to take the other, and these combs work like this. This is the thing that keeps it secure. It does tend to move around a little bit. That's why it gets crooked. Nice and tight. A little bit too much there. And then I'll use them like regular combs that go sideways. And let's see if there's anything else I don't want in my bat. just a quick rough combing. This is great if you have a fleece that's got a lot of veg matter in it. And I'm going to start pulling off the good fiber from this comb. And so this is kind of all the junk. But I'm saving all my little bits and bobs here in a bag because I might felt with this or do something else with this. Maybe use it as a core in a felted project. So now what I do is I just pull off my locks here. Just in no particular way. I'm not dizzying or anything. Just roughly pulling off all the fibers. And I'm just leaving that on the combs, and I have this nice little bit of fluff that I collect over here so that I can card it and get a really, really beautiful bag. Kind of just put a little bit in at a time. After the first carding, I'll pull it off, and then I will run it through a second time just to get it nice and blended. So I could probably put more wool on this drum because I'm not really getting anything in the liquor in. But the more you have on the drum, the harder it is to doff off. So I'm going to go ahead and just doff this off and go over to the spinning wheel and do some spinning. All right, I'm ready to doff off. So I did the finishing, and I started out with a size 8 needle here, straight needles. This is a reverse stockinette. A lot of the sweater is reverse stockinette, and the sleeves are stockinette, but the body is reverse stockinette, and I didn't like the looseness here. So then I went to a 7.5, 4. I started with an 8, which is a 5 millimeter. Then I went to a 4.5 millimeter, but I was using straight needles here. And then I remembered that there's a way to mimic knitting in the round, and so I grabbed my double points and I went to 7.5 with the double points, and you could see the little fringe here. Basically, it consists of knitting a row and then sliding the stitches to the other end, and then carrying a big loop in the back of your work, and then going back and forth, slipping and continuing to knit. And you can see that the knit stitch in the round is a little bit tighter than it was in the flat. So for the pattern, I know that a large part of the sweater is knit in the round, but some of it is knit flat. So I might go down a needle size for the flat portion just to even things out. But I really At first, actually, when I first made this, I was like, meh, you know, it's kind of gray, and you know, I've got gray hair, I'm getting older, do I really want a gray sweater? And I posted and I kind of asked my friends on Instagram what they thought, and the overwhelming response was that they liked the natural shade. So I'm aiming for 14 to 16 wraps per inch, which I figure will give me a 9 to 11 ply, so worsted weight. So yeah, I'm really excited about this project. I've got all my wool all carded up, and I've just started spinning. I have a control card, and so yeah, I'll probably have quite a lot of spinning. You know, how am I going to manage for the sweater spin? Well, I only have, I mean, I have maybe half a dozen bobbins for my Lendrum Saxy wheel, and I really want to spin all the singles and then sort of mix them up and ply them randomly to compensate for inconsistencies in the spin. So I purchased some temporary bobbins. I'll go grab them real quick. Cardboard bobbins. And they were sold out everywhere except finally the place I looked was Halcyon Yarn. I believe they didn't say they were Shocked bobbins, but I know Shocked makes a bobbin that looks just like this. $1.75 a piece, and they're cardboard. They're very sturdy, and they have this metal flange here. So I bought a dozen, and I have a bobbin winder. I have a Shocked double-ended bobbin winder, and what I'm going to do is wind off all my singles onto these storage bobbins and then ply them from the storage bobbins. So I think a dozen should be enough. We'll see. I could use these plus the bobbins that I have for the wheel. So yeah, so that's keep updated. Stay tuned and subscribe to see future progress on this sweater spin. All right, let me show you my progress on my Handspun socks. I'm keeping them in this pretty basket I bought. And I think I showed this in a previous episode if you've been following me for a while. But this is a superwash merino nylon fiber from Julie Spins. I spun it on my little gem with a lace flyer, and then I chain plied. It was only my second attempt at chain plying, and it didn't go quite as smoothly as I would have hoped, but the yarn actually is knitting up pretty well. So yeah, I had a little trouble getting the flow with the chain plying. You know, I would get into a flow, and then, you know, it would be hard to draw off the bobbin, or, you know, it wasn't, you know, when you see people chain plying, it should be this very graceful, you know, sort of dancing movement with the yarn. So I'm going to do it again. I'm going to get another braid and I really like the result from the chain plying. I'm going to show you the twist here. I mean, even me with as an inexperienced chain plier, you can see that it's actually it looks pretty good. You know, it looks fairly round, and yeah. So here are the two socks. So I'm knitting them at the same time using two different methods because, you know, I'm weird like that. So this one I am knitting with double point needles. I think these are Chalgu. They're US 2, which is 2.75 millimeter. And this one, you can see they're not going to match, but I didn't do anything with color management whatsoever. But I'm just knitting back and forth, you know, knitting this one, and back and forth. When I get tired of double points, I go over to the magic loop. And these needles, I love these needles. Where's the other needle? Doo-doo-doo. These needles are from Diacraft. They're called Heavy Metals, and I think they're stainless steel, and they are really beautiful needles to work with. And I'm getting exactly the same size sock with the two methods. So when my husband saw these, he goes, "Oh, they look like butterscotch." The name of the colorway was Citrus, I think. And so I went to our candy jar and I found some butterscotch. And indeed, it really does look like butterscotch, doesn't it? So these are my butterscotch socks. So yeah, so you know, I'm going to be working on this sweater spin, which is neutrals, you know, cream and gray. So I thought maybe simultaneously I'll just keep spinning sock yarn, and I'll just get really colorful sock yarn. I really want to try to do a self-striping sock yarn using the chain ply technique. So yeah, I'm going to have to go search out some more colorful braids for my next pair. I actually do like the way these are knitting up, and they also feel very substantial, and I think they're going to be pretty hard wearing. So yeah, I've got the Handspun sock bug, and I'm really excited about that. And what I'm doing with this fleece is long draw on my spindles. So if you're not aware, there's lots of ways to spin on a spindle. You can park and draft, you can do short forward, you can do all different kinds of things. Most people, when they learn how to spin, they'll do just a short forward draw like that. So forward and then smooth, forward and then smooth, forward and then smooth. This little guy is a spindlewood spindle. Isn't it pretty? But what I'm doing with this, because the fleece, and this works really great for fleece that's very springy and a shorter staple. In my experience, it seems to work that way. So what I do is I get a nice twist going. Usually I roll it on my thigh, and then I just let the twist sort of dance over my finger. And That's the difference between woolen and worsted. So woolen lets the twist in between your hands. So with a worsted draw, there's no twist in between. You're drawing out and then you're letting the twist in. Drawing out, letting the twist in. Let's see if I can get a wider shot here. And what I like about long draw on a spindle is you can also do it sitting, because you're sort of doing a horizontal draw. And so it's very easy on your shoulders. I have a drop spinning video I made a couple years ago called Drop Spinning from Start to Finish that you could check out. If you have any questions about spinning on a spindle, if you could add them and put them in the comments over in the sidebar, I'd appreciate it. And just let that twist sort of dance over your fingernail. You do want a very fast spinning spindle, and I find that this works best with a light spindle. I think this one's about 0.8 ounces. So, yeah, you could do this when you're sitting too. So, you can just go ahead and give yourself the twist, and then you can work sideways. So if you're watching TV or something, give it a flick. This is woolen spinning. Now I've heard it done where you draft out a slub and then you draft the roving. Build up some twist first before you do this, otherwise your spindle will fall. That's important. This spindle spins, look at it go. A lot of twist built up there. And then I can just let it into the fiber. So yeah, I could do it sitting too. This is the Cormo fleece, the Cormo cross. It's just really very, very pretty. Yeah. There's something about the tactile feel of fleece. It's very soothing. Though I have to say, spinning is a very bulky craft. A couple pounds of fleece take up quite a bit of room unless you compress it down somewhere. Right, Peaches? So I'm always looking for a nook or cranny in my house so I can find a place to put my wool. Like right now, I'm shoving it under a desk. And, yeah, I love, love, love spinning on a spindle. And it just seems like you can never have too many. I mean, you keep filling them up and you need another one, right? So another fleece project that I've been working on is Corriedale wool. I went to Target and I saw this basket. I thought, oh, isn't that perfect for spindles? So in this basket, I have a project going. Pull one out. So this fiber is 70% Corriedale and 30% alpaca silk. I'll show you the blend here. So here's some carded bats of just the wool itself. And let me see if I have, what did I do with the locks here? You can see I have my hands full. So this lovely fleece, I think I got it in 2016. This is a Corriedale wool, and it's a super fine Corriedale. And just beautiful brown, dark brown with some gray fibers in it. It's just so pretty. By itself, it cards up into this. And so it's a gray. Most gray wools are brown based. So what I did is I'm carding this by itself, and then I'm pairing it with this fiber. So back when shipping from the UK was pretty reasonable, I ordered this from John Arbon. They called it the Three Supremes. And it's 3 colors of alpaca and then silk. It's got the fawn and then the charcoal. And white, I think. I'm not sure. But isn't it pretty? So what I'm doing is I did a 70-30 blend by weight. And this is what the bat looks like. I have another, oh, here it is. So I got these ginormous bags from the grocery store. I'm keeping some of my projects in. I am easily distracted, and I like to start other projects, and sometimes I'll forget what I'm working on. So by putting a label, like labeling all my fleeces, labeling the projects, then I know what I'm working with. So, but this is what it looks like after it was carded up with that Three Supremes. Yeah, I'm spinning this particular cop on one of my favorite makers, which is Vermont Spindles. I'll leave a link to that shop below. Everything I talk about is in the description. And I'm doing a short forward with this one. So this is zebra wood. It's very addictive once you start spinning. You just got to keep your spindle projects out and accessible. If you're really a neat and tidy person where you're always putting things away, but you might want to leave one of your spindle projects just out and ready to be spun. When when the mood hits you, you can go ahead and start spinning. So yeah, I'm using a bunch of different spindles. This is a little Turkish spindle from Ian IST Crafts. Again, that was when you could ship things from England and get them relatively quickly and affordably. So I wanted to show you a new support spindle I got in the mail just a couple days ago. This spindle is from Crivelli on Etsy and on eBay. And she is a distributor of spindles that are made in Georgia, the country of Georgia, in Europe, not Georgia here. So I bought this one, and it came with this cute little bowl, a cream bowl with little blue decorations on it. And I'm spinning some fiber here. It's beautiful purple fiber. The colorway is called Peony, and it's by Inglenook Fiber. So this is, I think this is definitely coming up with me to the cabin. All right, I think what I'll do next is I'm going to show you some of my ongoing spindle projects. And I have to decide which ones I should take with me to bring on vacation. So as you look through my projects, maybe you could make a comment below which is the one that you would most like to see completed. Why don't you leave a comment in the comment section, and that will help me decide. Because I always bring way more than I should. So I'm trying to restrict myself to 2, maybe 3 projects. So yeah, let me know in the comments what you would bring if you were going to go up for a spindling vacation. Other than that, friends, I will see you probably in about 3 weeks and give you some more update on my weekender sweater. And I look forward to seeing you and speaking with you then. So take care, everybody, and I hope you're well, and please do stay safe. So I'm going to walk you through some of my spindle projects, and please don't be judgy. I know I have a lot going on here. But this is the first one that I'm thinking of taking. This is some very pale green alpaca wool. It's about almost 3 ounces I think I have here. And I started spinning this with these spindles here. These two, the little guys here, are Vermont Spindle Minis. And this one is a green sleeve spindle. And this is another green sleeve spindle. This has really got some interesting, sorry, and you can hear the motor trying to focus here. I do apologize for that. This is a little tiny Ethan Jacob that Liz whipped up for me. It's really very interesting figuring here in the wood. So very, very light. I think it was only about half an ounce maybe. Yeah, sorry about that, guys. So there's number one. Number two. Number two is this lovely. This is a Blueface Leicester Tussa Silk that's been in my stash for a long, long time. 40% Bombic, 60% Blueface Leicester. And I'm spinning this on a variety of spindles here. These are, oops, sorry about that, maybe I should change the camera, huh? These are two minis again from Vermont Spindles. This one's Purple Heart. Oh, it sure is purple. And this one is Pink Ivory. And then this one is Spalted Wood. This was the first Vermont spindle I purchased here. And then again, there's a green sleeve spindle. So that's project number 2, right, Peaches? I wish I could take you on vacation. She's going to stay here with our son. So, yeah, no dogs allowed in the cabin, right? So, kind of worried about her, but she'll be fine. So there's number 2. Number 3, you have seen this one before. This is Bat in a Braid. Again, I do apologize for that sound if you can hear the motor. This is Bat in a Braid by Inglenook Fibers. Let me see if I get in the light here. Set it down. Yeah, so it's merino, camel, silk, faux cashmere, and a fire star. So 24%, so almost 25% artificial fibers. You've seen this one before. I spun this on these 2 gifted spindles, the Black Wenge and the Holly. So that one is really pretty too. So what is that? 1, 2, 3. Okay, number 4. Number 4 is this merino silk that came with this walnut spindle from Vermont Spindles. And then this is one of those spindle woods. It's very pretty and spinning up very lovely. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, spindle project number 5 is this wool. It's Organics Polworth from Inglenook Fibers. And it's quite a large braid, 6 ounces. So I'm pretty ambitious thinking I can spin this on spindles. But here's the spindle I'm spinning that on. And I have a plan for this one. I am going to 3-ply this and make a cabled cowl with this. I think it'll be really, really beautiful. So yeah, so there's that one, and then of course the support spindle project here. Which I'd like to bring as well. So those are my options. Green alpaca, Blueface Leicester silk, Bat in a Braid, Inglenook Fibers, merino silk in like a tangerine color, organic Polworth. And then of course, I should probably bring a natural colored one. So this is that Corriedale alpaca silk blend that I made on my drum carder, which I was thinking of making another 50-gram bat of this. So you can see my dilemma. I have a lot of projects that I kind of flit back and forth to, and I'm not sure what I should bring, and then I end up bringing everything, and then of course it's just like too much. So, so there are my options. So do tell me what you think of in the comments below. Which projects would you bring if you were going to spend a week in the North Woods with nothing to do but enjoy the scenery and spin on your spindles? Better get inside. Come on, Peaches. Last week I was so excited about my first daisy, and now who knows which one was the first one. But they're such happy little flowers, aren't they? I just love them so much. Peaches is surveying the garden and looking for rabbits. You see it? Hello there. Hello there, friend. Oh my gosh, you're going to play games with my dog. Peaches. Peaches is going to go crazy. There it is. You see it? I don't have my zoom lens, so hopefully I can get a hold of this guy. There he is. Hello, bunny. Hello, bunny. And there she goes.